Weekly's coverage of Comic-Con 2017. I am Kyle Anderson, joined now by the star and producer of the forthcoming film Atomic Blonde, in theaters July 28th. Charlize Theron. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. Yes.
Are you enjoying your Comic-Con so far?
How can you not?
Right?
Right? I mean, I walked into that panel this morning, and just the amount of people that show up, and there's an energy, and I think people really have a passion for so much of the storytelling that we're here talking about.
Was anybody already dressed as your Atomic Blonde character, Lorraine?
I haven't seen, but you know, I've been driving in like back alleys to kind of get where I have to go. So I haven't really seen, and then that room is really dark, so they might have been there.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing a few.
It's inevitable, all right?
Okay, good.
It's got to happen. It's
all
definitely
right.
going to happen.
Okay.
I can't wait for it. Charlize, let's talk about this movie. When you read, this is based on a graphic novel called Coldest City. When you first encountered that, what was it about it where you thought, I need to be in this world, I need to play this person?
I think it was, you know, I loved that world, but I think it was, there were a couple of lines of dialogue that the character of Lorraine had that were just incredibly dry and unapologetic. And I saw potential for a character like that to maybe live and breathe in a way that I've always been fascinated, to kind of see if a woman can kind of play by the same rules that men get to play by in these films. And so she had a lot of potential, I think, for me as soon as I read it. And the world was interesting. I felt like there was a real challenge in taking a spy thriller and turning it on its head and not having anybody wear a boring trench coat and having it look like it's cold and gray and wet outside, you know, like just like visually, like how you can actually like do that.
Yeah, definitely. And was there, because it seems to me that you seem to really relish roles that are very physical. Was that also sort of a big draw, but the idea that you could really, you know, get into it that way?
I think there's always been, you know, the first time I ever told a story was through dance when I was 4 years old. And so I think there's a nostalgia that I've always had with movement and storytelling that I thought I had to kind of say goodbye to when I realized at 19 I couldn't be a ballerina. And then I think in like the last 10 years of my career, I have just really tried to bring that back into my acting and to really try to utilize that more than I do words. And I think George Miller was really one of the first directors who really celebrated that, and he actually pushed it even further. And you know, we barely speak in that film. So I think I've always had a connection with the physical.
Yeah. And I mean, so do you feel like you're a significantly different performer since doing Mad Max than you were before?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was handed a great opportunity with that film. And then I had an incredibly generous filmmaker who allowed me to push the envelope and to do things and encouraged me to kind of try to push this character in a way that maybe necessarily wasn't on the script. And so I think I've always said, you know, when you have good opportunities, great opportunities like that, and you have filmmakers who you know, kind of support you in that, that's an incredible space to kind of live in. Nerve-wracking, but an incredible space to live in.
Well, Atomic Blonde is directed by a gentleman named David Leitch. Did you what was your first encounter with him? Had you worked with him at all before on anything? No?
No, but I watched John Wick and really loved that film.
Who didn't?
Yeah,
right?
So I definitely had like a, you know, a little, this is interesting. And he came in and he really liked the script, and we sat down and he pulled open his computer and he had pulled up a lot of visuals, and I really loved that because it really kind of to me, it really explained the film that he wanted to make, and it was very much in line with the film that we developed. And he was just he was ready to take a risk, and I loved that.
Yeah. One of the things that I find really interesting about Atomic Blonde is that we really do, you know, a lot of times in these types of movies, you know, you don't really get to see the kind of wear and tear that these kinds of things have on the bodies of our heroes. But that's kind of a big element of this movie. Was that really important to you to kind of show that physical aspect of it? Yeah,
because I feel like it's truth, that it's very truthful, and I think that, you know, we sometimes cross the lines between women being abused and women choosing a career that's very dangerous, and that's two very different things. And in this case, Lorraine definitely chooses a life that's very dangerous, and she's going to find herself in circumstances where it's live or die, and she's going to have to be able to fight her way out of that, you know, hand-to-hand combat style, or by using a shoe or a fridge or whatever she can.
Whatever's around.
But yes, you know, it was important for me to not hide away from the realities of what those consequences would be if she found herself in those situations. And I realized that, you know, over 50% of this movie is me in prosthetics, with my eye shut swollen, or my face completely messed up, or my body completely messed up. And a lot of people have said to me, that's where they find the empathy of this character, because you really, you know, she is tough as nails, and she has to not show any of her cards, because if she does, she's vulnerable and she dies. In this world, you just can't do that. But when you see her alone at home, and she's, you know, bare, and you see her skin bruised up and her eye shut, and you see the pain and what that lifestyle does to a person, whether you're a man or a woman, but especially a woman, I think you find great empathy in that person.
Well, it's so neat to see, you know, the humanity in someone who is otherwise, you know, could easily just become like a superhero.
Yeah, a caricature. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Like, I have such
That's good, Charlize.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know.
It's better for everybody.
I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to go with what you're saying.
Good. I'm glad you agree with me.
I'm always looking for something where I can ground it, and I feel like when I have that anchor of reality, then I can do anything. But it's, you know, once I'm like flying in the sky, like I'm like, I don't know what this is. I have no, my sense of imagination is just non-existent.
I doubt that very much, but that's fine. Atomic Blonde is in theaters July 28th. Charlize, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Hanging out. And please stay tuned for more great coverage from San Diego Comic-Con right here on Entertainment Weekly.